Good morning. Starting off with the disclaimer. I am not a financial advisor. Nothing in this video is financial advice or recommendation to buy or sell any financial product. All content is for informational purposes only based on personal opinions and experiences. Trading futures, options, and other financial instruments involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for every investor. You can lose more than your initial investment, so always do your own research and consult with a licensed financial professional. Alright, here's the news for the day. We've got ISM at 10. That's the main thing. And then you've got some Fed speakers later in the day. Or this is 10:15, but this one's later in the afternoon. But yeah, ISM will be the event for the day. And yeah, so let's just get right into the pre-market sheet. So you can see big uptrend in the overnight. Yeah, you opened gap higher. Or maybe not exactly a gap, but now we're in a gap higher in the RTH. You broke and you pushed through our mag zone, through our MCV POC here, and you continue to push all the way up to basically the swing high we've been talking about for so long. Yeah, you're right at it. 44 is the swing high. But anyway, let's go through the pre-market sheet quickly. So monthly, I added the monthly. So monthly, weekly, and daily, there's no one time framing. So there is no one time framing direction right now. We're in an imbalanced condition, obviously, from the gap. We're at the swing high. This swing high is weak, so we wanted it to be rechecked. This is the new swing low, now that you're in a gap lower. So this is the new swing low. This is a good swing low. It's a good excess, but it does have a weak high. This is a double TPO high. So yeah, that's the same for yesterday's because it's the swing now and yesterday's. Same thing. Good low, weak high for yesterday's session. Yeah, and that's pretty much it, I guess, really. As for key levels, we've got all of these prior week's highs up here. All of these are naked, basically. They're all old. Some of them are recent, but most of them are older, at least the past couple months. And they're all naked, so those will all be, things to clean up. You've got the 63.44 swing high here. And then you've got the 63.90 swing high up here, which is really the important one. But this one's important because you have to get it to get this one. So, yeah. So this swing high, the 63.90 swing high, this gets us into gaps from... This is the gaps from when Trump first announced the tariffs. You had the big push lower, the gaps lower in oil over 3 days. And then it balanced out here, right? And we've been balancing out. And this first test was early on, maybe 2 weeks after the tariffs. And so anything above this, all the way 63.90 to 65.42 here is all gap. And like untraded, just untraded stuff, basically. We do have a bit more range in the full session, I will say that. But, yeah, so like you've been up here in the overnight session, but you want to see it traded through in the RTH for the gap to be closed, really, right? And so yeah, so we've got those two swing highs, all these prior week's highs, the gap above the swing high, which right now is only like 50 ticks away, so very doable. And then I just put like naked stuff. You've got naked settles, all this stuff, and so... that's above. And then for below, I mean, you've got the key magnet zone here. Mag zone / MCV POC. That will be, yeah, that's important. You've got overnight low, which is not much above that. And then you've got overnight VPOC, which is good. It's actually more clear on the PNF today, so I'll show it here. Okay, well, we just brought it up here. But either way, it doesn't really matter. Basically, these boxes of structure is where I'm looking. So you've got one in the mag zone, but then you've got this one just above the mag zone. And so this one will be important for longs. Basically, this is 6250. This will be important for longs to hold above, basically, for the continuation. If you get below here, then you get into the mag zone. So this 6250 basically becomes sort of a line in the sand for me. Yeah, so it's not overnight VPOC anymore. We just brought it up with a big collisions, but it still plays the same role. And then, yeah, pretty much that's it. There's not that much below us because we kind of blew through everything. Like the mag zone, you've got some naked stuff. Whoops. You've got some naked stuff, like naked VPOCs, naked settles. Below, 5 days all the way down here, you've got the double TPO high. But really, like, now you're getting pretty far away, so yeah, though, like, so that's basically the scenarios, or the key levels. I would say for like most crucial, I'd say it's the two swing highs, and then these two on the low side, the mag zone and this structure. I'm just gonna add right now so I don't forget. Add a thing there, a marker. So yeah, let's go back to the TPO. I can bring out the Epic Pen still. So obviously gap rules apply. We're not really going to be trading for the gap stats today because, you know, if we're up here, half gap is going to be like 2 points away from us, you know? So if we get, you know, like through the mag zone and through that structure, that overnight structure, then sure, then we can start looking at the gap stats. But for now, it's not that important, for me at least. So yeah, but you still do have the gap stats, and you do obviously still have the potential for a gap and go scenario. Um, you've been aggressively bullish, so you start to sort of question. I guess I start to question, you know, how much longer is this really going to continue? But until it starts to turn around, you have to just assume it's going to continue at the same time, right? Because that's what it's been doing. And so for a clear bullish scenario, it would be these two swing highs. You got the 63.44 right here. If you're staying above that one, then you can probably extend up to the 63.90. And then, like I said, everything above here is just gap. So it's really just zone to zone, and you're really just looking for it to clean everything up. Like the whole area needs to be cleaned up, basically, right? So that's the clear bullish scenario. If you do that with the pullback, then sort of overnight VPOC, potentially new overnight VPOC, but more so that structure I was referencing on the PNF chart. Pullback, if you hold that, you could continue. If you fall below it, then you get into the mag zone, and I would be more keen on either chop or a push through that continued, you know, for the actual gap stats and settle. But again, this is pretty far away. But this mag zone becomes a point where we could sort of, the dynamic could change, I guess. Where if it doesn't hold and you get below it, then yeah, we could very easily get choppy. We could also go to check settle. We've got, this is just the weekly VPOC. So it's the VPOC for the week, last week. And then you've got a bunch of stuff to fix up along the way. You've got the double TPO, you've got settle. And then obviously below that, you've got the key stock zone. But that was clearly rejected. And so that's why, like, yeah, that's why this move higher makes sense. Like, you don't necessarily think it's going to do it this aggressively in one day, but it looked like a clean rejection, which is what I said in sort of my weekly review of this low. And so these are basically the three main scenarios. You continue higher, or I guess I'll do it like this. You continue higher, no pullback. You pull back and then continue higher. You pull back and fail. Or you pull back and roll over, right? You fail to continue to move higher, and you either balance out or you push through. And you go for the actual gap stats and settle and yesterday's high and blah, 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 if you can, right? It's settle's 60.79. We're at 63. So it's a good 2.5 points, basically. So it'd be a lot just to get to settle. And yesterday's high is just a little bit above that. But yeah, that's pretty clear to me at least. Like that makes sense. Like these scenarios seem clear, so I'm not gonna overcomplicate them and basically just go off that. So I'm gonna skip the 30 minute today because I don't think we really need to go through it and just get straight into the drawings. Keep it, a reasonable time today. I will switch this quickly to a 1-5. Um, oh, sorry, I just got like acid reflux or something there. Sorry, just let me grab some water. Oh, sorry about that. But yeah, I'm gonna get right into the drawings. So I only really need to go down to settle, and then 6390, and then basically everything above that is just zone to zone. So 6390 is here, so we'll add one more. Okay, so yeah, pretty big range. Blue. So we've got settle, clearly. Overnight low, double TPO down here. You've got this clear magnet zone. You've got clear line in the sand. Overnight high. 6344, which is basically the swing high, overnight high / swing high. 6390. Okay. What is that? Swing high. Major swing high. Overnight high / swing high. LIS. Mag zone. Settle. Overnight low. I forgot. Overnight low / yesterday's low. Damn, I made these boxes way too small today. Didn't I? Except for the line in the sand, the one with the smallest amount of words. But, yeah, so we basically went through the scenarios. I'm not gonna really go through them in any more depth than I did on the TPO chart. Like, those seemed very detailed to me, at least, so they all made sense. So, yeah, like I said, you're at the swing high, the 6344 swing high. So, if you push, you break overnight high, and you're staying above, then this becomes the major level to break, right? But you need to see this one break first. If it doesn't hold perfectly, it's fine because it is a pretty tight range in between the two. It's only like 50 ticks. But you want to be maintaining. You want to be clearly doing trade above, right? Like, you want to see interest, I guess. Yeah, but then that looks good for the continuation for the swing high. And then, like I said, anything above here is gap. Above this 6390 swing high. So I'm basically just going to be zone to zone. Basically zone to zone, just looking for continuation higher, pretty much. That would be the idea. And obviously both of these swing highs technically, I won't draw this one, but this one too, but this one, since it's the key, the most important one. I'll draw this one. But both could be potential resistance areas. Like if we can't break overnight high, because we could open like right down here and make a quick swing and fail, right? Like sometimes the transition to the RTH session, you just start the reversion, right? Like you should just start doing the repair work, because eventually we're gonna have to come back down here to do the repair, like so. But anyway, and then yeah, for the bear scenario, like I said, like if you fail on a test to the high side, like if you fail on this test, like and you can't even break this swing high and you start moving lower, this short move would be tradable down to test this overnight structure here. Like you could, if on any failure of any of these levels, you could take this short trade down to test this, and then from here becomes the decision point. So, and that would be this scenario. So if you can come down, and you can test this line in the sand, then this, like I said, becomes the decision point. So in the bearish scenario, like we said in the TPO, you would go through this, right? You'd go through this. You'd likely get half gaps somewhere in here, somewhere around this sort of area, maybe just ahead of the mag zone. And then you could continue lower down to close the full gap and touch settle, and do a full reversion. That would be a full reversion. Or you could come back down to this mag zone and start chopping, right? And just balance out and start consolidating again. If, we weren't exactly ready, this was a bit preemptive still. We just come back down to the value we have down here, we balance, and we, break out again another time. Or, obviously, the continuation could happen from in and around this area. Like, for the continuation, you'd like to see it stay above this. You wouldn't even want it to get into the mag zone, because then you have the risk of it getting choppy. So you really would want it to hold like right here. Like not break this low, basically where full session mid is, which would be a key area to watch for reaction, just in general. Because it's basically, if you don't hold this, then you're going to most likely get one of the two. We could come down lower and still continue higher, but still it's a magnet zone, right? So if it's still valid, right, like I'm not, like I have to see it happen, right? I'm not just, I usually don't just lean on levels, right? Like I usually like to see the reaction, but yeah, anyway, I don't even know what I'm talking about at this point. I was just rambling on. So yeah, no, this seems pretty clear to me though. So we've got basically 3 major scenarios. We've got basically 4 key areas we're going to watch out for reactions, and that will basically dictate, I guess, sort of the direction we see the market going in, right? So yeah, so I'll end it there. We kind of went long. I may edit this up a bit, and just cut out that big chunk of rambling I was doing, but yeah. So I will end it here and be back end of day, if I have any trades.